welcome back for everybody.
Yeah,
now
for the
we
50th
still
again. Let's go.
50th. Hey, look, 50th segment part 2. We're gonna continue in the dialogue, right? Look, my prolific boxing boys are in the house over there now in that corner.
Yeah,
looking over here. They're about to share, right? Hey, listen. We're keeping this dialogue open in the whole movie deal, right? But a couple of movies that may have been out that were more documentary style movies. We had just said you might have a couple of your own picks, but then go ahead, man.
Or potential documentary made.
Or potential documentary.
Well, I got a few. I hope I don't steal anybody's. I'm up in the air. You got the Gottis, right? Unfortunately, it just happened recently, right? But one that I would like, and I hoping for a better ending. I like where it's at or where it's going. Pritchard Cologne.
Coming
up, man, coming up. And I was upset because I liked him, but I didn't like him. Makes sense, right?
Well, you became more of a fan.
Makes sense.
What he went through.
Because I was like, he's good, but who's next? He's good. Who's next? He's good. Who's next? And then you're kind of like rooting for him, but at the same time rooting against him. And then something like that happens, unfortunate, but he's progressing, and I'm saying hopefully he gets better, you know what I mean? And he gets to real stable to where it comes out to happy ending to where they can do something like that for him. I think that'd be great.
You know what? That's
deep,
man. I'm glad that you brought that up because that's something that needs to be addressed. Because I thought that fight that he had with his last fight, it was going to be more of a game changer for the sport. You know, I thought the rules were going to change or the commissions were going to change. Something more was going to be elevated because of the results of that fight. And if nobody knows of Pritchard Cologne's story, is he took multiple shots behind the head in his fight. He finished the fight, but then he passed out and became pretty much a vegetable to this day. Like he can't even walk on his own. He can't speak on his own. You could go to YouTube right now and you could just put in Pritchard Cologne before and after and how he looked going into that fight. And then when he came out of his coma, which I believe it was like over a week long, and he's still not the same person.
And that's Pritchard with a P.
Yes, Pritchard Cologne. And then he's a family man. So it's like, again, walking through those ropes, all it takes is one punch, whether it's legal or illegal. And in this case, it was an illegal rabbit punch. And it's unfortunate, man, but that's he deserves to have something made off of him to help benefit his family.
Of course.
Like, people should get behind that.
But so, although I agree 100%, but let's not forget something, though. This isn't something that's new or even in the headlines that big regarding. How about Gerald McKellen?
Solid.
In general.
You know,
I watched it recently, man. It's still so fucking brutal.
Who was it?
He was working, man. Nigel Benn, right?
Nigel
Benn, Gerald McLevin, man.
And,
what an amazing fight, but man, what a brutal thing.
It's a sad ending of a very promising career because he was a beast, but apparently it's just, things happen. But I always thought that would have been something that would have been worth
Listen,
but nothing.
For me here locally in Phoenix, right? She just retired recently, so then we're being and
I
think it'd be an amazing documentary. See her whole brother's story, her whole story, all get combined into something that could be so amazing, and I think put together and if done right. Sulem Urbina, doing, she just retired here locally recently, but her story is an amazing story. Her brother's story was
she's so involved in the sport, events and all that stuff.
She's still passionate about it and stuff like that, and I know she misses it. So shout out to Salem. I hope
she's still working,
retirement.
man. I see that she's maybe retired from the fight part of it, but we still see her out there, man.
Yeah, well, they got the KO Boxing Club.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Actually, speaking of, we're all a little political on this, but it's not out yet. But I ain't gonna lie, I am excited for Christy Martin's movie.
Oh yeah,
Sydney Sweeney.
Hey, that shit looks good.
That's what I was about to say.
I plan on going to the theaters to see that bad boy.
Yeah.
I just now saw that
trailer. The trailer, yeah. So
it's awesome, man. It looks so good.
I did not even recognize the hottie who played her because she didn't. She didn't look like a hottie. She really
that's good acting right there.
I think that's gonna be her breakout role. Like like a serious breakout role. But yeah, no.
She fucked up her hair and all that. Man, I was like, she's like, it's gonna grow back in like 6 months or so.
Listen, what are some documentaries that may be out already or may have been done over the years that you thought were pretty good to done? For me, I'm gonna tell you the Mi Vida Loca Johnny Tapia documentary.
Tapia.
Excellent, man. Every time I watch it, it's like it so reminds me of being that age and being right back living through it. And man, rest in peace, Johnny Tapia,
Have you
man.
guys seen that one? Mi Vida Loca? Where like it's the camera, they're like, go ahead and talk to you. He's like, my name is Johnny, whatever. I don't know his whole name. My name is Johnny Tapia, and I'm a professional fighter. They're like, you love to fight? I love to fight. That's the intro of it. I'm all like, oh, that's so fucking powerful, bro. It's so freaking powerful. Hector Camacho's freaking documentary.
Oh, Hector Camacho's documentary was
his son was a big part of it, obviously, right? Junior was sharing stories with his pops and all that. It was, and I really thought, even my son, my teenage son, thought it was an excellent freaking documentary. Excellent.
Yeah. If anybody's ever seen Assault in the Ring, which was a documentary, it's about 20 years old, but it mentions the Plaster in Paris. Yeah, Louis Rendo. Louis Resto, when Panama Lewis did the whole deal with it, man. Excellent documentary, bro. Yeah, no, excellent documentary, though. They literally catch him in the documentary, like, is where they reopened that case from that movie. So it was a pretty good movie to see, though.
And it took patting off the damn glove. That's how it was figured out.
Yeah. We were just talking about that the other day, right? Being able to take that padding out of the glove the way they did it.
And he had the special water and everything. It wasn't just a glove.
Well, that's look, that's the rumors, right?
Panama Lewis is like banned.
Yeah, 100%.
Banned for life.
He
should be banned for life, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
me and this guy saw that fool in Vegas a few years back. Remember?
Yeah.
Hey, he can't work corners. He's
The audacity, huh?
He's
just showing up.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't even want to like shake that dude's hand or anything, and I didn't because I was like, man, fuck that dude. That's trash, bro.
Those are the rumors, though. He used to crush the asthma pills and put it in the water.
Yeah, with the
Aaron Pryor used to be able to get that second wind, and he definitely showed that. Asthma pills. He used to crush them up, put them in the water, so that you would have that second wind.
Because remember on the first fight with Arguello?
Yeah.
The one I mixed.
The one I mixed.
Exactly. The other bottle.
Yeah. I always thought it was cocaine in that motherfucker. That's all I could think. Like
asthma pills.
Yeah, man.
Asthma pills. Right up.
Hey, there's a Joe Calzaghe documentary.
Shit.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, that must have just made it. They didn't make it stateside. But there's a Katie Taylor documentary called Katie.
Yeah, I seen that one.
Yeah. And then you got the 4 Kings.
Listen, I was telling them that I watched 30 for 30 on ESPN, man, and they had one called Tommy, and it was about Tommy Morrison, man, and it actually went really deep into his whole play.
There you go, Kimo.
There it is! Shout out to Kimo, man, for the day. Yeah, no, it definitely went into his whole deal with the AIDS thing, though, man. I mean, watch that, man. It really showed the background of his fighting, what he was doing that actually got him caught up in everything, and then how his approach was to thinking that he didn't have AIDS and then dying from AIDS because he didn't want to take his meds and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Hey, you know what's another good one? It was on Netflix. I don't know if it still is, and it wasn't just a documentary. It was a series about the greats, in my opinion, the greatest middleweight of all time, Carlos Monzon.
Oh, was there one on there? Right?
Bro, that shit was... It was detailed. So at the end of it, dude was a beast in the ring.
I mean, his name was Carlos.
He was a piece of shit.
Kind of gives it away that he's going to be great.
And the first few moments of the
he wasn't a
show, it's like a
he wasn't.
10 episode freaking show. But the beginning of it is basically they're giving you an indication of what kind of person he was at home. And all you're seeing is a beautiful home, and you hear a woman being beat, screaming, things breaking, and it's him beating the shit out of his fucking wife and stuff.
For a second, I thought you were reliving when Manny got knocked out by Marquez and shit. The woman screaming was you and shit. Yeah.
So but it's a great series, though.
Hey, let me ask you, Jerry. You mentioned right now 4 Kings. Are you talking about the 4 Kings documentary that deals with the heavyweights? No. Or are you talking about the one that deals with the 80s Kings?
Yeah. It's called The Kings. Yeah.
I think there's one called...
You're talking about the Fab Four.
What is it?
Yeah.
Kings Forever or something like that too.
Oh, When We Were Kings.
When We Were Kings.
Yeah,
that one also is a really good one, man, and that deals with the heavyweights from back in the day, man, and all the battles they went through.
It only dealt with Ali and George Foreman on that.
No, it didn't. When We Were Kings actually dealt with Larry Holmes was in there, and Joe Frazier was part of that documentary too.
The one that I really liked was Facing Ali, which was all his opponents.
Oh, Facing Ali was excellent. Excellent. Yeah, bro, documentaries that have dealt with Ali, that's probably the best one I've ever seen.
I really enjoyed that one.
So what about, let me throw a couple names out there, so current fighters that you think that might have potential of having a documentary made or movie. So the easiest one that we can probably throw out there right away, get it out of the way. Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather.
Right? Obvious, right? He'll have some kind of a movie or something done about his career.
So we're not talking documentary because Floyd and Pacquiao already has documentaries. I seen like
for me, I think more that's gonna be like more recently retired. I think Triple G going into the Hall of Fame and then retiring not too long ago. I think Triple G's documentaries.
And now the face of the International Boxing freaking board. Come on now, that's definitely should be a story, but I don't think it will be.
I think a documentary on the great Chocolatito would be an amazing thing, man. I think they could actually cover it as he's going into the sunset of his career.
That'll go straight to DVD, bro.
That'll go straight to DVD.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a lot of good news.
Anyway,
will have his own one.
Since he's opened up about the mental health and all that stuff, that's a good one. That would be good.
You know what?
There's not a big one, but for me, but for a Felix Trinidad documentary would have been amazing.
His book.
Bernard Hopkins?
Yeah, Bernard Hopkins.
And they can end it on it, but he didn't fight no named fighter.
I knew what it was doing.
Nor did he win a title.
Klitschko's?
But
the Klitschko's.
He said
Usyk fighting in the war.
Oh man, look, that one's for sure, right?
There's a Klitschko.
Loma.
They got Emmanuel Stewart on that one.
Lomachenko and Usyk both gotta have their own documentaries.
You think Lomachenko's career is long enough?
They could totally just do one.
Bro, but
he's great.
Yeah, he had moments, bro.
I absolutely agree, and that was my initial first before we get into this. Lomachenko, not even Usyk. And I'll tell you why. 2-time gold medalist. We can start off the fucking series or movie where he's winning the second gold, but the storyline's already known. Turns pro, struggles versus an OG veteran. Yes, his career's short-lived, but he picked up them belts and collected everything.
Lived here locally, by the way.
And add to the fact.
Shout out to Orlando Salido.
In the storyline,
Salido.
He had to put a pause on things because his country went to war. So there's a lot of drama that can be added to be very entertaining and about a very talented. I think it's a trip to me that Usyk has all the accolades over freaking his best friend Lomachenko.
It's a trip to
I always felt that
Usyk's the
Lomachenko was the better fighter.
undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
I loved his footwork.
Was the undisputed cruiserweight.
But I think Usyk, because of the fact that he's a bigger man and has the power, it just makes it a little different or something. But Usyk could fight, obviously, but skill for skill, I always felt Lomachenko was better.
100%. And like Jerry said,
numbers don't lie.
Shout out to Sirius Alito. Every time I seen him, he's had a 30-pack in his hand. I'm like, that's the dude that he can say that he beat.
He beat
Lomachenko.
Yeah, I mean, the balls of Loma to go in, what was it, like second or third fight when he went in?
It was second.
You gave me your second
the
fight.
Streets know, but how many people can't say it?
I'm just saying.
How many people can't say it?
Man.
Can you imagine the documentary? They're going to talk to Salido. He's going to be like this.
Yeah.
All old, bald, with beard and all that, and just talking about
drinking.
He's gonna look like somebody I know.
With beard
straight dog.
Yeah, but he was great. He was good.
Man.
He had a weird style. That everybody
Very
just fell into.
unorthodox.
Yeah. But yeah.
They either figured him out or they didn't.
Yeah, they know. Yeah, exactly. If you have the discipline to box him, then you can beat him. But you eventually got into a brawl, and if you could survive. And win rounds against Orlando Salido, man. That's all.
Win, lose, or draw. Salido's been in a hell of a lot of fucking wars.
Rocky Martinez fight on that Floyd Berto on the card.
Yes, yeah, and his fights with Juanma Lopez. Those fights are awesome.
Yeah.
Listen, here's a different question. We're still within the realm of entertainment in the movie part of it, right? Who's a couple boxers who have been in movies where they did a good role in a movie?
Ricky Conlan.
Yeah.
Pretty Ricky Conlan.
Yeah, straight up, bro.
I'm fighting Pretty Ricky Conlan.
Yes, bro.
I like Jose Benavidez. One, because he's local. Two, because he was okay because they told him, we're going to bring you into Hollywood. You're going to get beat up by a guy making his pro debut. But, you know what I mean?
That was like 50 pounds heavier than him in the movie.
Oh, 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the latest
but
you know what? He did good acting. He really, for his first time.
Because Benavidez, he got that. You look at him, you're like, he got that little grimy flow, and that's how he was.
Hey,
in the
shout
movie.
out to you, man, with that Arizona friggin' boxing fan drop
100%.
right there.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it was great.
I talked to the homie Emily, who does PR for the Benavidez team. I talked to her while that movie got released.
Shout out Emily Boxing.
And I talked to her shortly after the release about Junior's role in the movie, because I saw him in the trailer, and I was like, wait a minute, I recognize that those tattoos and it didn't show his face, and I immediately texted her, and she was like, yeah, that's him. And she broke it down to me and told me that he really thoroughly relished this role. Like, he loved being on set. He was like everybody made him feel so comfortable, and you could see it on the screen. Like, for a first time actor, he played a villain relatively well. The punching sequences and stuff like that were crisp and clean. Like, props out to Junior for falling into that role and owning that role, and for somebody who has zero experience, right? Like, I mean, it's nervous.
People forget they're coming into his world. You know what I mean? And that's what I like. That's what I like when boxers play, like when just like Andre Ward played Danny Wheeler. You know what I mean? In the little short swim, the first or second one. They're coming into their world, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know how they must feel, right? When Hollywood's saying this, you know what I mean? And then you know it's something off with it, but you take it,
real
right?
boxing,
because you're in it, you know what I mean? But I think it's super cool when they use actual boxing.
Gabe Rosado in the first one of Creed, man, he was actually
Leo.
Leo
Something like that.
Shout out to freaking King Gabe though, man. That's the homie right there.
King Gabe Rosado. He actually fought on the Danny Garcia undercard this past week.
Yeah, he did. I did not know he got the dub though, but good for him. I mean, so I guess it was Philly fucking representing that night, man.
I'd like to see him against Berlanga.
So
I think he beats Berlanga.
You know what? I think they got some beef. I think they've been talking about. There was some social media beef with them too.
Who against Berlanga?
Rosado, Gabe.
Gabe
Rosado.
Rosado just fought.
Man, Berlanga's still young though, bro. He might hurt Rosado in that fight. I don't want to see Rosado
you got the same thing with Beck the Bully. You know what I mean? Younger, come forward. And if you run right into a well-timed punch, ask coach. You want it? All it takes.
And he
sit down on it.
Knockout, so.
Coach, you tell me, what would you see in that fight? Rosado versus Berlanga.
Over Berlanga.
Really?
See?
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't even ask him
Berlanga is pretty chinny. The first time somebody tried to show him to me, I was at a barbershop and this guy was like, me and my barber were talking about boxing, and this guy like, hey, you know this Puerto Rican woo? I go, I don't know. And he wouldn't leave. He was making phone calls to remember the name, calls his boy. So
he's like, do you know this guy? I don't know his name neither. But do you know him?
And he pulls up the YouTube, the first fight that pops up. I'm looking at it. He's getting rocked all over the place. He eventually knocks the guy out, but he's getting rocked all over the place. So I noticed.
Sign him up for Lester Martinez tomorrow.
So to me, I was like,
I'm saying.
Hard for hard, Gabe Rosado.
No, Martinez needs that rematch.
He does, bro, but sometimes that shit don't happen, bro.
You don't want to backstep that far.
You want that rematch.
Yeah.
But I'm
but it would look beautiful. I'm just saying. Bam, good night.
And Gabe gonna do it for the love of it. He ain't gonna do it for the paycheck or nothing like that. He gonna come in. He gonna try to get him out. So that'd be a good one.
Listen, Coach. My only drawback with that though is Gabe Rosado is very Jurassic. I'm just saying, bro. He's up there.
He can get hit, and his face won't hold up if you're in a 10-round fight.
Yeah.
But regardless, you know you're gonna get you gonna be in a scrap.
You gonna get your money's worth.
How would you see that though? What kind of conclusion? You talking about a knockout or a decision?
I would say a knockout.
Either
way, you know what I'm saying? Like let's say for whatever reason Berlanga's chin holds up for whatever reason, off a miracle, you know. Rosado will get cut, and then the fight gets stopped over the cut. It's ending either way by TKO. But I think Rosado will knock him out.
If they fight, it better not be in New York.
It'd be fun.
That'll be the best way that Rosado has a chance if it's not in New York. But if they offer her more money, it'll
be in New York.
But you know what? I don't think.
It'll be at the Garden, bro.
Hey, I got
Puerto Rican Day Parade. They filling up the Garden, bro.
Hey, I got people in New York, and they don't claim Berlanga like he actually claims New York. Really, he's really made them a laughing stock. To be honest with you.
That's the problem, bro.
Who throws a celebratory parade in a loss?
In a loss?
Come on now, bro. Corny as fuck.
Fuck,
Yeah.
I got a Suns tattoo on my arm, but I've been to a Suns parade, bro. We got 0 rigs, so I can't say shit.
That was the NBA Finals, and that was the hottest day in Arizona history. We had like 100,000 people out there. Berlanga had like 12 people out there, and they were all on scooters or some shit. Yeah. Anyhow.
Yeah, all right.
Man, listen.
Anyone else got something to share regarding the topic, man? Huh? What about you guys?
Oh, let me name a couple other fighters that maybe there's some. How about Adrian Broner?
That's gonna
I'd be an entertaining one.
That's gonna be a good one.
Definitely be an entertaining one. Yeah.
That could be long.
Hey,
yeah.
People don't understand how long that can be.
I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm keeping 100 with y'all. This is 100. I'm a big fan of Adrian Broner. His fighting. I think that dude always had mad skills, but he a goof. He a fool outside of the ring.
Very much a goof.
He a fool. But I thought if he would have stayed focused more, as opposed to enjoying the freaking limelight, which he obviously was and is, I think he could have done far more in the sport of boxing. Because I really thought when he beat
Paulie?
no, we're talking about way back, man. DeMarco. When he beat DeMarco and beat the brakes off him, I was all like, holy shit, this motherfucker is a beast. And he showcased and proved it a couple more fights, and then next thing you know, he let it get to his head. He's talking that third person talk about billions, baby. This is that.
Hey, Guapo Damas is resentful of his talk right now.
Like, you're just
it's
doing
too
too
heavy.
much.
It's too heavy.
Sound a little familiar?
Yeah,
He's just doing too much, and I think he was focused too much about you. He became such an egotistic fucking fool that he neglected his craft.
He became a character.
He fell into his alter ego. He fell in love with his alter ego.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting one, though. I'd watch it.
It would be interesting because there's a whole lot of stories in there, man. We don't want to see too many court dates in there.
You know what's a style of documentary?
Yes, he's been to court too many times.
You know, it's like a style of documentary I'd like to see get continued, man. For me, a series of documentaries. When I used to see Legendary Nights when they were showing the HBO Legendary Nights series, excellent series, right?
Classic.
I hope that. I mean, obviously HBO is not around, so it would have to be done differently. But a series that would keep something like that going when they deal with big fights that happen, because we see big fights all the time.
They call it Legendary Nights.
Call it Legendary Nights, yeah.
And I wouldn't be
a
surprised
continuance.
if the Ring or Turkey or somebody got behind something like that, and if they don't already produce them, because I mean, you've seen some of the quality that they do to just announce some of their fights.
Yeah.
They got to get more into the streaming, because, like you said, Matt, throwing on HBO, Showtime, and all those everything to the pre-fight.
Yeah.
There is, but 24/7, you're not gonna get together.
Yeah.
You can be driving on the freeway, throw it on, and play it and think you watched it.
Yeah.
You're not sitting down, focused, you know what I mean, with the TV, with your boys, with your family, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Sit there and pay attention to it. And a lot of people take more of a podcast thing to it. A podcast
Right. So you can just, in your own convenience.
in your convenience, right?
Catch it when
Hey,
it
I got a
Listen.
3-hour drive. Let me throw it on real quick. You know what I mean?
Listen,
Yeah.
and I can't believe we're missing the most obvious one, right? With Thanksgiving approaching fast, with the documentary on Turkey, man. I'm just saying, bro. They should have already mentioned that documentary too. He's doing big things, bro. No, listen, no, they should do it because bro, the things he's doing in the boxing game deserve a documentary.
And he got his whole country.
Mr. LP won't like this.
So
Jake
inside
Paul deserves his documentary. He ain't gonna like that, but he do.
But it
You'd watch it. You'd watch it. Don't lie. You went to his fight. I did.
Boxing,
just boxing.
But and with wrestling.
Right. He's a personality. But to Turkey though, man, he is doing absolutely great things for the sport. He brought back the Ring magazine on newsstands.
Yep.
I love that. He is now producing the show Inside the Ring with Max Kellerman as the host. I fucking love Max Kellerman.
We needed Max Kellerman.
So I've been waiting for that motherfucker to come back somewhere, somehow. Okay? Maybe he's not going to be sitting ringside freaking doing the fights all the time, but now there's a platform where he gets to sit there and talk boxing, which rightfully so. The dude, I've always been a fan of his boxing brain, you know what I mean?
Max!
Always been a fan. So shout out in regards to that. And the sport of boxing is in a very freaking healthy place. That's not also. I also want to chime in and mention this too. With everything that's coming along with going to Turkey, doing all that big things and stuff. How about Topps coming back 74 years since the last time they produced a set of boxing cards, and they're back. And I fucking love it. Me and my son actually cracked up on a hobby box. Nothing worth noting of my breaks, but nonetheless, so it's just good to know that Topps is back. So you best believe I'm gonna be freaking buying next year's freaking box.
Listen, you want me to tell you what seriously needs to get considered, and I'm gonna put this out as a challenge to you, my friend, since you are the leader of the way when it comes to the media, things that we're doing here. We should start doing a local documentary series here for 4luvofboxing, and you should be at the head of it, covering some of the local stories that are popping up in local boxing, because there's a lot of stories to be told in Arizona right now.
Sounds like a
that
challenge.
A lot of people don't know. And I pose that challenge to you, my friend.
Actually, I love
Make
that.
it happen. Be better.
I love that. We know we be better. I love it.
Hey, quick question, brother.
Yeah.
You brought a good point that I've been had in my head since you guys had your show. So is the quality of boxers in a good spot?
The quality of boxers.
Well,
Boxing is in a good spot.
no, boxing's in a good spot.
What about the boxer quality?
I do think there's some serious new up and coming talent. And it is sprinkled all over the place. Now I can sit here and drop you names like Norman, Cruz in the low weight classes, and in heavyweights we got the Moses and Tomo.
Shakur Stevenson is out there.
But there's a lot of up and coming guys that unfortunately are not getting that attention.
Yeah.
On the stream.
Yeah,
the media.
it's just the time, bro.
But the beauty is, that's what I'm circling back. I just dropped those names, and guess what? While I was breaking my freaking hobby box of boxing cards with my son, I was rather pleased that they had a lot of hot, young, up and coming prospects, not just filled with a bunch of old time legends that they think the obvious will go to the masses and push. No, they're giving these youngsters an opportunity. Like, here you go. We're gonna give you this freaking opportunity. So these kids are gonna probably
feeding them down the throat.
These kids are gonna want to know what the hell you're doing, who you are. They're gonna Google you. They're gonna check out your fucking fight clips. When your next fight, they're gonna fucking see. Now it's on these guys to continue on to shine and do what they're supposed to do. Like Oshaki Foster. You know what I'm saying? And the list goes on. There's so many excellent fighters out there that just don't got the star power like a Ryan Garcia. And we're talking about guys that are already world champions.
Go pull up Emmanuel Navarrete.
But then guys...
And you're going to see a workhorse who's a monster who don't get the commercialized credit.
Are so under the radar to the eyes of even the hardcore of boxing fans. So that's a good question, my guy. Because like I said, we talked about it just on the previous segment. Ryan Garcia, hey man, yeah, he is a star. But in all honesty, in regards with what he's done within the sport of boxing, he really ain't done shit. But he is an actual fucking superstar.
Ryan Garcia.
And it's really not fair. It's really not fair.
It's a great question. It's a great question because not only that, but you got to bring up, there's a lot of fights to be made now. And Turkey's
there are fights that are being made.
And Turkey's doing a great job.
He's doing his damage.
But here's my problem with it. It's a lot of money, and we're not getting what we want.
Return value.
The return value. And I'm going to tell you one right now, and y'all going to agree with it, whether y'all agree with it or not. Did Canelo do $150 million worth of fighting, worth of boxing?
No.
Was that worth $150 million?
Yeah, right. It was very
okay, you got to put the money up there for him to take the risk to take the loss, right? Because that's what he really didn't want, right? He didn't want to take the loss.
And that's what my point was about the quality of the boxing, because it's more about the money now.
Yeah,
quality
and quantity. You know what I mean?
The characters. The characters. That's what
you gotta back up.
But if the question,
you give me 150 million reasons.
But I got it though. I hear you. So it is a two-part answer though. Like I just mentioned, it's not fair. I just gave you at least 5 or 6 names. And some of those guys are champions, and they're under the radar. And I'm like, it isn't fair, but they have the talent though. And it's just a matter of time.
Listen, tune in this weekend with one of those guys.
That are doing these
Joseph Parker is just that. He doesn't get the love, but his talent is there.
Not giving it their freaking all. But like, motherfucker, you are getting paid how much? And you basically freaking nonchalant It's like you punching in and working. You're just like,
it's like
I don't care.
When Al Heyman
I'm half-assing this fucking job.
Al Heyman was paying all these PBC dudes $1 million, $2 million per fight to fight each other. You know what I mean? To just go sit there and recycle each other, and they're making $1 million, $2 million. Look at Danny Garcia's career earnings. He made a killing. And there was a lot of fights that probably didn't happen because he was on PBC, but I think we need to start bringing those names up. Because they're focused on the star power, right? Ryan Garcia, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, regardless of what the outcome of that fight was.
Yeah, or if you like them or not.
But we got to invest in the young fighters. Yeah. Like I felt like Al Heyman did. When Chavez fought Fonfora in what, 2013, 14? $4 million. Mm-hmm. $4 million. That's the first thing he did. He went to Instagram and he said, I might have lost, and literally the check from Al Heyman for $4 million. And you're just like, wow. Can you imagine if you split that up into 8 pieces, 500,000, and you give these young kids, you know what I mean, that are putting their life on the line, their health, because like we talked about, right, the Pritchard Colognes of the world, and things that happen.
It takes one punch.
Yeah, you can. What if you get sidelined for a year or two? This is all they know. You know what I mean? This is all they know.
So 2 young lions, big fights right now. You got the format, and you can pay anybody whatever you're paying them. Let's not take money into consideration, but it's the biggest fight you would make right now. Who would it be?
I would like to see, first and foremost, a rematch between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. They're not younger dudes, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I think that's a good fight. For
me, I got one younger dude, one older dude, but I'd like to see Chocolatito and Bam go at it, man. I'd like to see it now.
Think so?
I'd like to see it right
that's
now.
your ego talking, Wapo.
No,
I like
no, man. To me, that makes tons of money, though. It makes sense for multiple ways,
It makes tons of money. It makes tons of money, and it makes a lot of sense. I do. With Chocolatito, I don't want to see him go out like that.
Yeah, no, and I don't think he would go out like that, bro. To me, Chocolatito's the cream of the crop down there, bro.
But there's a high possibility that he would.
Gallo, listen, Gallo dropped Bam in that fight too, bro. And I see Chocolatito handle Gallo 3 times.
And I think he's gonna go down as one of the best Central American fighters ever. But
now, if Chocolatito beats Bam, what does he go down as? Not just one of the. He probably goes down the best down there, right?
Yeah. Hey, so
I mean, we're seeing it right now. Right now, that view.
He gives me crap all the time about the fighters that we root on. I'm a big fan of Chocolatito.
You're great, man.
I just don't think he can beat Bam at this stage of his career. And we're talking about. Hold on, we're talking about.
Who have you seen handle Chocolatito other than Sorvengasai?
Yeah, well,
because Gallo got handled 3 times.
But we're talking about a guy like myself. Even when everybody was on the smoke and mirrors tip with Mayweather as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter for years, he wasn't on my list. Chocolatito was. Yeah, from the body of work, when he was knocking out like Hawaiian Punch, Valora, and the list goes on and on. He was handling the business, bro, until he hit the roadblock of Cervantes. But Chocolatito was doing it. And I had none but love, and maybe it had something to do with this, because if you guys remember, on HBO, RIP too. I used to love HBO broadcast for boxing. You guys already know that. Yeah. But he was always the opener, the co-headliner for Triple G. Yeah. Always. 2 big punchers, one itty bitty one and one middle one, because they're middleweights. You know what I'm saying?
and I'm glad Chocolatito's active, because how many guys have we seen take that first loss and disappear? Yeah. You got the Randy Caballeros. You got the Bam Bam. You got the Bam Bam Najaras. You got the Saul Rodriguez's. That a lot of good dudes, man, that are coming up. Take that first loss, get discouraged, and it's a wrap.
Man, Jerry, remember we met Randy Caballero with Panda back in the day?
A lot of great dudes, and not just.
Hold on, we actually had a segment where we were talking about that. Prince Ahmed. He got his butt handed to him.
Never, did nothing after that.
And he was just like, And then we're gonna go a little further. Although he didn't get his butt kicked per se, but he was so disgusted in the sport, Marvin Hagler. He took that L versus Sugar Ray Leonard, and he was like, man, screw the sport, and moved across seas and became a movie star.
And you know how when I found out that Triple G was the truth, was every dude that he was knocking out, they were calling it a rat. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't have it no more. He did something.
I told him that. Kell Brook did great against Triple G and sacrificed his career for it.
We know what he did, you know what I mean?
That was it, man. He sacrificed his career for
that's when. Quick little segue. Kell Brook was actually going to fight Ricky Hatton in England.
Yeah, no, huh? They said
excellent.
somebody's replacing him. Ricky Hatton.
And you got Ricky Hatton probably would have knocked him out too.
It's Kell Brooks fighting somebody else. Somebody actually stepped in.
It's one of those.
I think you're right.
Not the real fights. It was just like a
exhibition.
Exhibition.
Yeah, no, and somebody jumped in there. I don't know who it is. Somebody jumped in there.
Hatton was coming to have a little fun and stuff. So he was in the middle of training camp when this all happened, man.
Wow.
For me, since staying on the topic of dominant fighters right now, I'd like to see Virgil Ortiz and Inferno go at it. I think that'd be a dope ass fight, bro.
There's a lot of fights in that division. Right
There's so many combinations that can be played there. You're absolutely right, man. There's so many young talent in there. And with the news of he just sharing that he got a new trainer, Tim still belongs in that freaking conversation too.
Tim's great.
He really does.
Yeah, man.
But you know who I actually would like to see? They're both young, and they're both actually stars, and it's been marinating for a couple of years. Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez.
It's supposed to happen.
It's a horrible matchup. Shakur's gonna put it on Teofimo badly, bro. That's not a good technical matchup.
And what I don't understand is that
it's really not. I'm a huge Teofimo fan, bro, and I see it coming, bro. That is what it is.
What
bro.
your opponent does, man.
Shakur to go up again in another weight class too.
That part.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
But you know, like
Teofimo struggles with cutting off.
What
the
gets to
weight.
me,
I'm just saying,
when you're fighting a boxer, something in your head believes that you're gonna make him come forward and sit there in the pocket and fight with you.
Come on, man.
Valdez and Shakur Stevenson. I was so upset, man. I was so mad.
Even at that peak, at the professional freaking level, we've had this conversation at my home a few times.
Yeah.
Nothing freaking irritates me more. Like, you worked all these years, you have the basic fundamental skills, and you're not cutting the fucking ring off? You forget that part of your freaking training?
Throw a jab.
It just blows my mind, bro. Regarding you're not trying to work your way in or make that ring smaller. And if you're not in training camp preparing for a boxer and not doing that part, shame on you. Yeah. And 100%, I agree with you. 100%.
Because they bring in the southpaw, an agile southpaw that can move and get around. But they sit there and they tell the southpaw what they want him to do. We want you to get there and engage when it shouldn't be that way. Because I think Valdez lost that fight as soon as he signed the contract. And he had me for a second when he's like, when you're in there in the 10th, 11th round and that pressure's on you and that fire's on you and you're going to realize if you belong there or not, he had me for a second. Because I like Valdez, you know what I mean?
Of course, man. Come on,
but then But then that happened, man, and then you're just like...
Hey, so, trip on this, man. We've already shut it started again, but I'm going to bring it up again. Me, Jerry, and Hamed were there ringside in Vegas to catch that Shakur Stevenson-Valdez fight. We had a great old time ringside. So, rubbing shoulders with a whole... It was a star power fight. It was awesome. Great freaking time. I couldn't believe Valdez performance.
Couldn't have been that great. Guapo Damas wasn't there, bro. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, that's on you.
I
couldn't believe the performance
Vegas could have handled
on Valdez, but it was no knock. It wasn't that he wasn't. It wasn't like we, he had an excuse. Maybe they said no. It was all credit to Shakur Stevenson.
Of course, 100%.
And I just remember sitting there looking, and I was telling these guys, I'm like, holy shit. A superstar is fucking born.
A superstar is born.
Shakur
And he needed that
Stevenson
fight.
is
He wanted that fight, and he knew when he looked for it. And let's go back to the Broner. Kids. 90% of the fights in camp. Broner wasn't taking that camp serious. He had the talent. He knew he had the talent, but he wasn't putting that work in behind the scenes.
Like I said, dog. Early on, Agent Broner.
Yeah, that's the thing. Not everybody's covering that same club, you know.
And I'm still in a fan.
It takes a dog. It takes being a dog.
He treated it more as entertainment than he took it.
Yeah.
Because he knew he was good.
But that's the thing. But that's the thing, though. I always enjoy a shit talker who can back it up. James Lights Out Tony. Love that.
Guapo Damas.
When James Tony is in the press conference and he's like, man, I'm about to beat your ass, and then he's sitting in the pocket beating your ass, it's like, oh, you talking the talk and walking that motherfucker. But then he got other motherfuckers that say it, and then they're like, come on. Ain't nobody
like
believe
relax.
Relax.
Recently, ain't nobody believe you're gonna do what the hell you say you're gonna do.
Recently, that Fernando Vargas Jr. was the talk behind.
Yeah,
the talk behind it.
Oh my God.
the talk behind it, man.
But you gotta sell it.
I know you
You
gotta
do.
sell it.
You gotta sell it.
But you got a million
If
people
you can't
watching.
sell it, you ain't making shit anyway, right there.
But you think you're gonna get another good shot in a while on a
if
big
you
card
sell-
like that for some million, bro?
How many
We
people-
take that. We
We
take
take
that
that
fight.
You gotta take the opportunity.
How many people were really behind Conor McGregor when he fought Floyd Mayweather?
Yeah.
Like half of the country.
I wish I
Seriously.
would have bet people.
People
I was like,
really
these
thought Conor
motherfuckers are
McGregor
actually
was gonna
steady.
beat Floyd
Then
Mayweather.
Conor's gonna
Because
win.
he sold the
Yeah.
fight.
Entertainer.
That's part of it.
Entertainer.
That was
When
great.
you
That was
get-
great white
when
hype
you
played
get
out
to-
in real life, bro.
When the
That shit
lights
was
and the
hilarious
camera
when
and
that
the-
was happening, bro.
When the lights and camera are on, it's like you switch over that, like the alter ego, and you have to sell the fight, right? But you as an opponent have to believe that, or not. Is that the real person?
Conor
Like
did
that's
what
how
he
you have to
did.
decipher.
Was that 2016, 2017? How long
Money.
ago?
It was
around there.
pre-COVID.
Hey, so you know, this I just want to give
But
everybody
it takes
that's
away
just
fury.
viewing. So like we stayed watching
it
fights
totally
together.
takes
Shout
away
out to the
fury.
homeboy Hamed who
That's
hosted
why I
that
feel
night.
like that's why
You hosted that fight, bro.
I'm a fan of boxing.
And I lost 1,000 bucks.
So
I fought at his house that day.
NFL player.
I fought at his house that day. I was part of the backyard fights.
Set up that way.
So check it out.
I missed it.
As Lil C brings up a good point. He said that takes away from the purity of the sport.
Yeah.
Well, that's just it. Is
takes
boxing
away from
is
the
known as it's a pure.
It's the purest.
It's a
of
purist.
form of sport.
Listen.
But-
Boxing is
but
boxing
the
is
point-
is the one sport that tells you the truth like this.
Yes.
As soon as
It'll
somebody
humble
who's not ready
any
to
man.
fight like
Yeah.
this, you know the truth, bro.
But even with that,
But my point being-
that Conor fight,
Yeah.
if he couldn't talk, that fight would have never happened.
True.
Yeah.
So see, that wasn't a real fight.
Yeah. That's what I'm
That was
saying.
the beginning of the
Wait,
bullshit that's going on.
You know
now.
what's crazy? It actually, technically,
No.
was a sanctioned. It wasn't an exhibition.
No, it was
It
a
was,
Yeah, it was
it was
sanctioned.
Roy Mayweather's 50th
But it was
victory.
this.
Yeah.
I was
Not
all
only
like,
because of
get
this.
the fuck
Yeah.
out of
To
here.
me, I think money instead of helping the sport has ruined it.
Well,
Well, the pure.
There's always
But-
in
but
sports.
Ali-
It's always
Ali
going to be
fought
about
a-
the money.
A Denver Bronco, I think it was. Muhammad Ali, he fought in an exhibition back in the day, a Denver Bronco.
They should knock all that off and
this
knock
is
the
nothing
money
brand
off
new.
and just start
Yeah,
donating
yeah.
it to me, and I'll make sure that it goes
This
to
is
good
nothing
hands.
brand new. And
Yeah.
who mentioned the Foreman movie? You did,
I
right?
did,
too?
I did.
Ironically, I was going to share this. George Foreman, on record, took on like 6 dudes
Five.
in one
Yeah,
fight
yeah, it was
in
five,
one
yeah,
night.
yeah.
Diggs town.
In one. Yeah, but the Big George did it like for real, for BS. But Big George actually did that though. So like, he was just becoming a sideshow at that point. He was just
Yeah.
trying to get the
It was at
more
the end of
love.
his career, yeah.
Yeah, but nonetheless, so he did though.
Yeah, yeah.
So like there's always been. Well, how about when Muhammad Ali took on the wrestler, Inoki?
Yeah.
I actually have a trading card from that fight from the '70s, man.
We were just saying about Chuck Webner, and Chuck Webner fought Andre the Giant at one point too, man. That was one of those deals that was like big news, man. They fought in Atlantic City.
And to anybody that's listening, though, that's a real boxing purist, is I know how much they get frustrated with a lot of these exhibition fights, right? Because everything right now is like, okay, so they call it a boxing event or a boxing card, but it's not real boxing. It's not the pure sport that we've all grown to love. But is it really shame on boxing, or is it shame on the consumer?
Fans.
You got,
You know, because the fans are the ones that are being soaked in from the sale or the marketing.
You know, I'm guilty too, man. I'll talk all that shit. I'm like, man, I'll never. But you'll find me sitting there watching them motherfucking fight.
How many? Look at the rankings. WBA, WBO, IBF,
WBC,
WBC, IBO ring. You got the rankings right, 1 through 10.
IKO,
And then you
DIO,
got,
all of them.
and then you got all these weight divisions. There's more than enough boxers for them to have a main event every weekend of the year. If these motherfuckers just started getting their balls and fighting, because
You want
what is a
me to
boxing
tell you
fan
though?
gonna-
You want me to tell you though?
What?
His original question was, "Is boxing in a better state?" Yes and no was
Yeah,
the
it's
actual
double
answer
answer,
to
yeah,
it.
double answer.
Because I tell you, to me, it's not as deep of a sport as it was. I remember when I used to watch in the
100%.
'90s. Like you'd see the B-rated and C-rated fighters, and those motherfuckers were dogs too. That could go in the Obakars of the world. You know what I mean? Those dudes
Every fighter has
that
a
would come in,
smaller
right?
career window.
And to me nowadays, I see like the top level dudes, they're there. but it drops off very quickly from there. That next level is so far. There's such a big far gap that the depth just isn't there no more.
But see, you're talking about a hierarchy in the sport.
Well, listen, and so to me, I know that there is a main event every weekend that we could have, right, if they just make all the fights. I don't mind if they let a couple of those fights marinate with a couple of these dudes, letting them do where they maybe get gifted a couple of dudes where they can go in there because it builds the fight a little bit more, and I think it gives those dudes that maybe not getting those big fights, it gives them a chance to actually
let me kind of give you like paint the picture for all you guys viewing in and you guys here in the room. It's like this, my guy, like you just mentioned. So back in the day, you had one champion only.
He's going back way back.
So back then, in the boxing magazines, in the 70s and 80s, they had the top 15 in the rankings in regards to who was in that freaking division. You know why? Because out of those 15, they were all fucking beasts, dogs. These motherfuckers were G's. Nowadays, you have 4 champions in one division, and you got those rankings within that division. So you got the belt holder, who's protecting his freaking belt and picking and choosing and only fighting within the rankings of that particular brand. So like those guys that are ranked number 1, 2 in that division, like I'm not gonna fight this guy. What if I lose and I lose my ranking? I want to go ahead and sit. So they keep it knitted. So those fights that we do want to see are not happening because of something as such, just like that. Because back then, everyone fought everybody. Like if you were the champion and you were a reigning multi-year champion, that means you took on everybody. So like nowadays, the top 10 of the WBC is kind of a clown shit because those top 10 will probably be like in the freaking 50, 60 mark back in the day because those champions more than likely will be in the top 10 back then because they might not have a belt, but they obviously prove themselves that they belong in it. But now because of the segregation, they got their own little freaking bracket that they're actually enjoying and living off of. I
think something is happening.
Rather stay out there because they want to be protected.
Listen,
like, I'm gonna ride out
for me, I think something that's also happening on a much bigger scale now, or I as a common, just your average fan back in the day, and being a little bit more privy to some behind the scenes stuff now, you gotta have financial backing to actually be ranked up high, and that's something that I never realized. You know, some of these sanction fees that some of these different companies have just to be able to be a champion, you got to have a certain level amount of money, right? I look at Lester Martinez and Billy just fought the other day. And Billy was ranked number 2 for everybody. And Lester Martinez was not ranked in the top 15. They drew and went toe-to-toe. I think that kind of anomalies you can happen now because he doesn't have that same financial backing as maybe the other team does, but he does have that drive. And so I think sometimes those fighters kind of get lost in the shuffle now, though.
Yeah, and that's why they don't have the financial.
They don't have the financial backing.
And then a lot of and we're going back to the listing, right? You had your number 1 contender, meaning he was up next, and then they brought in the interim.
Yeah,
the champion gets hurt, whatever.
And now the regular championship belt and what is it? Some of the ones have the regular champion and the super champion and shit. Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, so there's no doubt that there's too many titles in the boxing game. There's a lot of titles. Like, who really is the champ? Like, if you try to explain, didn't we just see the same guy for this, fighting for the same welterweight title last week? Yeah. So it gets confusing to the casual fan.
Right.
So to clear that up, it's like we're not just going to have one champ unless it's undisputed. So to counter what Robert was just saying is that a lot of fighters don't fight other champions or champions don't fight it. Well, in the last couple of years, we've had the word unanimous or undisputed, the word undisputed throw around a lot lately in this game.
Right. Good point.
So that's what we want is we want an undisputed champ. And again, when it does happen, they don't keep it for long.
But
listen.
Circling back, you know who we have to thank for the majority of that?
Don't go there.
It's Turkey.
Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Is Turkey's going to want his one champion and his belt. He's not going to use the sanctioning bodies anymore.
Yeah.
Are you good with
that?
He's
going to go with the ring.
Ring magazine.
No, they're going to create. They're going to make a TKO fucking belt.
I don't mind if they go with the lineal champ, bro. If they go the lineal champ route, I don't mind that. If you can trace it back to the guy who beat the guy who beat the guy.
It's a boxing league, though. It's kind of like the Contender. So it's like their own little entity. So like they'll have their you're right. So yes, what they're doing is they're basically doing a regional entity of the world.
Intercontinental.
Yeah, so
champion.
these guys are not going to be. They're not going to have these guys ranked in the Ring magazine as the number 1, number 2 guys just because they have the TKO belt. But they got their own sanctioning body that they're going to just have a little league where these guys.
Kind of like UFC.
We're talking, or no, we're talking about like Pride.
Similar to.
We're talking about like when a UFC fighter calls it a day, he's no longer at that level to compete against the UFC fighters, so he goes to Pride. That's where the island of misfits. You feel what I'm saying? They still get to go ahead and have a glorious career. How about, hold on, sidebar, like Paulie Malignaggi just fought over the weekend, bare knuckle match. Yeah. He got his ass beat up. He won the fight, but he got beat up.
Paulie Malignaggi.
Beat up. Big fan.
One of his
big fan.
fighters.
But can you imagine arguing with 3 other motherfuckers that I'm the best, but we all have a world title in the same division? Can you imagine that?
I know.
Well, fight it.
Can you imagine? And then he goes, nah, I'm going to go ahead and fight this dude that's ranked 30th. End up getting knocked out. Now the fight don't make sense because you got a dude from, with all due respect, from Central America that don't got the money to back up and pay that sanctioning fee for WBC. You know what I mean?
That's where a boxing promoter comes in.
A belt is stripped. Because he couldn't get the freaking fight locked in because they do the bidding and all that stuff. Because they got to pay their fees too.
100%.
The fighters. They're like, man, I only made $100,000.
Could you imagine?
Finally
getting that check
in this fight, bro. And you want me to pay $150 to you for my next fight, bro? I don't even got that fucking money. It's crazy.
Listen, for me, that's a perfect example. Lester Martinez and Mbili, right? Everybody says, well, what we need is that rematch. Which, as a boxing fan, how can I want anything but that, right? Also, on the financial side for him, though, this time when now people know who the fuck he is, taking a couple of those fighters that may be on their way out and then putting it on them with a couple paychecks for him wouldn't be a bad thing either before the rematch.
Get him up to get his name out there, get him a little bit more
polished,
and then get him back in and see what happens. But you gotta hope he keeps that belt. You know what I mean?
Bro. Yeah,
because sometimes when the belt's out of the way, you're gonna chase a belt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're doing it all to chase a belt.
So the belts still do matter in boxing.
100%.
It does, man.
They do.
Well, I mean,
it does. And
you're a world champion. You're a world champion.
You know what matters the more than anything regarding it? Yes, the balance, the factor, but money.
Because it's a title of being a world champion.
Yeah, no, it is.
You're in boxing become a world champion.
Kind of mandate a little bit more of yourself.
We had Ray Beltran in here, and I told him, for me, being from Arizona, and then having Ray Beltran win that title at the end of his career, the way he did, that was so huge, man.
Yeah,
and it was because he finally, like, the quest that he was on, man, to get that world title, and he finally succeeded.
If y'all haven't seen it, excellent interview.
Yeah,
y'all need to go to
it. Hey, go back. It was episode.
Good as
I don't remember the number.
Man, it was so
but
raw,
look it up,
man.
Ray Beltran.
He really opened up.
And sometimes it don't work out. And with all respect, it's something that it wasn't huge. But Ken Carvajal, right, chasing the world title, he ended up getting an IBO shot. Brought dude to his backyard on his terms and conditions, and dude supposedly ended up coming out dirty. If that's the case, then you know what I mean. He deserves his fair shake. He deserves a rematch. But kind of puts me in the position to where if he would have fought Santa Cruz with that will, because I told him when that happened, I said only way for Ken Carvajal to put up a fight, he's gonna have to throw 150 punches per round.
Yeah, he's got it.
Against Santa Cruz. Because you're on a big card and a big stage like that. And that's why I go back to Fernando Vargas Jr., you know what I mean? You're on that big stage. You're co-main event to one of the biggest fights, you know what I mean, of the century. The lights are on you. It's 36 minutes or 30 minutes prior to that bell, you know what I mean? Everyone's in their seats. Everyone's watching.
The kid did the best that he could, though, because in all honesty, when we were dissecting that fight before it happened, Walsh is the truth. And as much as I grew up with Fernando Vargas, big fan. We've met him a few times. Cool dude.
Yeah, Fernando Vargas is cool.
But I was like, maybe
100%.
they're pushing Junior a little too soon, like they did his dad, because Walsh has an established dominance in regards to what he's doing. So like when the fight, I was like,
Marcus was world champion by then, you know what I mean? Pops was the world champion.
Man, different world though.
But different world, 100%. But when does Pops tell him? When do these trainers stop lying to their fighters in the 8th, 9th, 10th and tell them keep doing what you're doing and say, hey man, you're losing this fight. Kind of like Abel Sanchez told Triple G that. Triple G ended up losing it because it's the one that Canelo won, which a lot of people think was a draw.
All three.
But Abel, but
we'll just leave it at that.
Stop, bro.
We'll just leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. That's the
Yeah,
next.
stop.
But what do these trainers say? Hey man, if you really want to win this fight, you gotta turn it up.
They need
blowing it, son.
Felix Trinidad,
I love that.
You're
bro.
blowing
They
it,
need.
son.
Hey, you're
We're
losing.
firemen. We're going to the
Get it
fire.
together.
Shout out to Teddy House. That was an excellent speech,
I
too.
like that one, but who did he fight that fight?
Brandon
Rios.
Rios.
He was fighting Brandon Rios.
Yeah, I hear
He
you.
fought that speaker that hasn't moved for the last 2 hours. You know what I mean? Like I
Punch it
told
back.
you at your house. You know what I mean?
Punch it
I
back.
liked it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
they wasted it on Brandon Rios. I would have liked that speech.
It didn't matter who the opponent was, though. The whole concept was trying to get the best out of your fighter, but be real with them at the same time,
Yeah.
right?
But as I said, I need, like, these trainers need to. It's like Edison Reynoso, man. He should have told Canelo, you know what I mean? Boy, you're
You
down.
gotta- yeah,
You're
unfortunately.
out.
Mucho
Hold on,
más.
you're right. Here's the
You're
thing,
gonna
though.
lose.
Here, hold on.
Right. Yeah, no.
Canelo is the freaking star. He's the freaking boss.
So
So coach doesn't.
Bro,
he-
but
can't
what
outshine
if
him.
the punch output is just not
He
there?
can't-
You
he
have to
can't
get him to
disrespect
throw, bro.
In the corner, like I'm pretty sure. If
I
whether
think he's at the tail end of his career.
He
As
made
a-
him.
As a trainer, yeah, as a trainer,
He
you
made
better
him.
have
He
enough
took a
respect
shot
that
on
you can
him,
go in
you know
there and
what
go,
I mean?
hey,
For the camera?
step it up.
Took a
Yeah.
shot.
That is because of camera. The trainer can't tell the star
We're talking
that you
about star.
lose.
Yeah.
Let's ask
I
somebody.
don't agree with it.
Look,
I don't agree with it. But it's-
Omar's
He
a
just had it
trainer.
happen. We don't-
Omar's a trainer for
We're
prolific
not-
boxing. So in that scenario, what would be your opinion, boss man? You're a trainer.
In which fashion?
and telling the fighters to turn up. You
got
had
a
the
super,
situation.
you got a
superstar.
You got a mega superstar fighter
I've
that you've been training for 15 years, and he's in a position where he can lose it all.
Which you did.
And you're trying to convince him to go into the championship
It's
rounds.
worse. He can't
because
just
it's make
lose
or
it all.
break.
He's gonna make Guapo Damas look horrible. That's how drastic this.
And hold on,
this
here's the
scenario
other
is.
thing. He's godfather to your kid. You guys have had carne asadas together plenty of
Yeah.
times.
This should make it
You know,
easier.
like things like that. You guys have that brotherhood. It's more than just a
And,
trainer. Like
You
hiring
maybe
you.
gave him some of the tainted beef. They
Sometimes-
had the
sometimes
steroids in it.
it's
You know?
difficult
That's
too
how close.
because like the trainer becomes too friendly with the fighter, and once you cross that line, and they don't see you as like a male figure, like a father figure, then like they don't follow what you're saying. So that shit in one ear and out the other.
Because he
The
recently.
irony is what you're saying is when you build a relationship where the respect factor is so close that gray area line, it bleeds in and y'all become cool. And because of that, it's a complete reverse effect when it comes to the freaking job.
Yeah,
He recently had it happen.
does.
He recently had it happen. We're not going to mention any names.
The truth.
But he had an amateur boxer.
Mention the names, bro. What the fuck?
No,
Come
no, no,
on,
no,
come
it's
on.
a-
Look, all over boxing
It's
gives
a
you
young-
that exclusive
It's a
shit.
young kid,
It's
and we
amateurs,
don't want
man.
to
It's
disrespect nobody.
It's amateur.
But he told the kid, he said, "You losing this fight, you got to knock him out."
Yeah, you got knocked
And
out.
after the fight, when the result ended up happening, he lost because he was gonna beat up. The kid kind of went up to him and said, "Hey," he goes, "I didn't like that you told me that I was losing the fight and that I had to knock him
come
out.
on.
That made me more nervous, and I couldn't engage."
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah, you gotta stop coaching him, bro.
Yeah,
Dude,
well,
I mean,
he ain't
that
got
is
the
it.
heart.
Boxing.
No, listen. There's room for
You
there's
can't
room
listen
for
to your
everything
coach.
though,
If
because
you're a
now
boxer,
you
You
know
were too
that's how he's
insensitive.
wired. So now in the future you gotta
yeah,
approach it more strategic with that dude.
Some fighters, they expect you to talk to them a little bit more lighter. You know, like, hey, you're doing good, but do this. But sometimes you gotta be very alert. You know, get them to be.
It's
a
the
little bit
hurt
more
business, man.
alert. And sometimes they just don't know how to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Or cope
Sometimes you
with it.
gotta.
Cope
Sometimes you
with
So
gotta
it.
make
listen,
it.
there is
Sometimes
something
gotta
to
make a
that
fight
though, right?
ugly,
So
you know?
for me, I won't know as in getting the best out of a fighter. For me, I've never been a fighter, so I can't relate in that sense, right? But as an artist, I could tell you there's definitely a mindset as to how you're being spoken to, right?
Oh, yeah.
You get spoken to as in a certain way, it's gonna leave some kind of taste in your mouth, either in a good way or a bad way, and depending on what kind of artist you are and how you're wired, that's how you move forward from it. For me, I'm one of those dudes that I can take constructive criticism very easily, so long as it's being offered in a non-spiteful, hateful way. The moment I think somebody's just hating for the sake of hating, then I don't take it well. But I go into the mode of now I gotta show you that's not the case, and then I prove that person wrong. I think when you have a fighter that's wired that way, it's very easy to go. But sometimes you'll have somebody that's not that, right? And I face that in the business aspect of the deal, right? When I have an artist who may be a little bit more sensitive and can't take that criticism, and won't turn it into something positive. They'll shut down. And now what? I still got to get the best out of that individual, though. So now I got to rewire, rethink, and go, okay, what do I now got to adjust to get the best out of that person?
So can you bring sensitivity into the sport of boxing?
I think that's
I think it's been there before, bro. I think a dude like Mike Tyson, for example, an animal but very sensitive.
Yeah.
So let me
outside the ring, inside the ring.
Yeah.
Michael Moore.
It's
And
always
about
about
Teddy
that.
Atlas. Teddy Atlas. My goodness. So Teddy Atlas could be over the top. He's great. I always thought he was a great trainer. But yes, he has cross lines in regards. He doesn't give a flying fuck. He's going to let you know what he feels.
Yeah.
And Michael Moore hated that.
But here's the bottom
He became
line.
champion though.
You're in training camp
Well, he got
with the
him that
same.
belt.
You're in training camp with the same corner for a couple months, many weeks, and if you don't build that toughness in the training camp, like that verbal toughness,
And that trust.
and if you're not talking to the fighter the same way that you're going to talk to him on the day of the fight, that's where the fighter will then be like, oh shit, I didn't experience any of this in camp. Because you're bringing something different to me now. If you're the same way in camp, if you bring that mental toughness in camp, where if they're slacking and you're going to be like, we're not fucking settling for that right now. Like, you're in a fight right now and you're losing it. Yeah. And then the fight comes, it's not the first time hearing that talk. You got to build that in camp. Because if you're just coddling and you're just trying to get them physically ready, but they don't hear how you're going to be when the fight can go sideways and fight day, then you both have lost.
Failed, yeah.
Now let me ask, is that something that can be turned on later? For example, you're dealing with a guy who's very amateur, right? Very at the beginning of his career. Is that something that maybe he's showing you a trait now, which you then go, okay, this is something that you have right now, which I got to figure out how I'm going to turn off, because moving in the future, that's not going to be something that you're going to be able to move on with. For example, you just said, hey, is there room in boxing for somebody who can be sensitive in the ring? Probably not. So that's going to be a trait you're going to want to turn off at some point, pretty much coming up pretty soon. You know what I mean? Is that something you can turn off, though? Or do you think now, once a fighter is kind of dead set on it, that's how they're going to be, they're always going to be that?
Well, no, every fighter's different.
Every
personality
another thing, too,
is
like, fighters have to also train themselves to listen to the coach. So if you just, like, brush it off and, like, half-ass listen, if you don't train yourself to actually listen to him.
Mr. LP said that you didn't become world champ because you didn't listen to him as coach, bro. That's just my listen, bro.
He didn't listen to nobody.
Shit. But like,
Coach Omar's like, my ring's outside.
I got gloves. In the car. But like the fighters have to train themselves to listen to the coach as well, instead of questioning it. All the time, because sometimes you hear them argue back or debate back. But coach, what about
some bickering back and forth?
Listen, it's straight that he's talking the fight game to me, and I keep relating it back to the music industry. For me, it's not too different.
You know what's funny?
Man, they gotta have a fucking belief in the system.
You know what's funny, Guapo? When
Trust the process.
Your guys' kid, Jay Juan.
Yeah.
When right before he gets on the stage every time, I give him a little pep talk, like if he was a little fighter.
Yeah.
It's round 3.
Keep doing that.
Keep
doing that, bro.
It helps.
You're getting better every time.
Like you were sensing something in that. Like again, like it was just like a fatherly advice that you were giving him.
Yeah.
As if he was like one of your fighters.
Yeah.
Right. So you were reading his body language.
Yeah.
And then right away, like something within you told you to, like, I'm gonna talk to this guy. I'm gonna give him that little bit of advice, and we'll see how he responds.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's exactly my point. Is like, every fighter is going to be different. They're going to be delicate in some ways.
Yeah.
You can still pull them to the side, whether there's cameras or whatever else is involved, family members, friends, and you don't want to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
But you have those talks prior to the blow up, where they can blame, like, I'm not used to being talked like that. Like, I couldn't hold it all in because, like, it's not
Coach,
the first time.
No, Coach, you were freaking out.
Exactly.
You made a big old scene and stuff. Like, that's why I freaking lost, because you lost control of the freaking... No.
You didn't give it to me straight, or you were, or you gave it to me too hard.
Like the first amateur fighter I cornered, when he fought his first fight, he won very easily. He could have TKO'd the kid, and he even felt bad and held back. He fought real beautiful. He had a really nice jab, really nice quick right hand. And then the second time he fought Jim Lewis. And he got a bye the first day. The second day, his opponent didn't show up. So he went on the third day straight to the championship fight. One of the things that he did that I think kind of backfired was he wanted to Google and Instagram his opponent. So then he seen that this kid trains with national champions and blah, blah, blah.
And that got into his head.
Got into his head a little bit. And this is a kid that he was a good fighter, but he was like a know-it-all. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was a know-it-all.
Yeah, I know, coach.
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, go run your laps. All right, coach. Or he'll be like, some days he'll be like, I already ran my laps. Go run again. And I'll send him on his way. I'm talking to other guys, and I go look, and he's walking. He's walking his laps. You know, stuff like that.
He's half-assing it.
Yeah. So that's another thing. Like, he wasn't training himself to listen. He was a know-it-all. And in this fight, in this fight, the first round, he ate some beets before he even got in the ring. Right before, like eating some beets, like some gooey, whatever it was.
Rapping over them beets.
Yeah. and he gets in there, and he doesn't do great because he's like a little bit nervous. And he comes back to the corner, and I immediately see him like, kind of like look like he's gonna throw up. So I get the bucket and I put it to his face like if he's gonna just spit water, and he throws up just real quick and keep it moving, you know. And then round two, give him a little pep talk. In round two, he comes out and he does great. But in round two, some chaos happens outside of the ring, right? And like some people start fighting in the crowd, so they stop all three fights because there's 3 rings going on at the same time. And when that happens, the other boy, his opponent, he's still warm. He's still jumping around. And I tell him, hey, stay warm. He's relaxed on the ropes. And I'm telling him over and over again, when the fight continued, he lost his momentum because he was outboxing that kid in round 2. But he lost his momentum and his body got cold.
And he didn't want to freaking listen.
Yep, and he didn't listen, right? So he loses round 2, the end of round 2. So then he felt discouraged. So round 3, he just went out there like dragging feet, and he lost round 3. You know, my first boxing job was through a high school program, and he was part of that high school program. And his father and himself, you know, complained to the principal that they didn't hear me give him any instructions. And I go, if you don't listen in training, you're training yourself to listen. If you don't listen in training, you're not going to hear me when you're in a fight.
It goes in life.
You know, the way you train is the way you fight. If you half-ass listen to me in training, you're going to half-ass listen in a fight. Because when you get in a fight, you immediately, as soon as you step in the ring,
everything else zones out. Everything else zones out except one voice.
You should be hearing coach's voice, though.
Yeah. Right. So, because he didn't train himself to listen all the time and follow direction without questioning.
He was hearing all the other noise.
And you're listening and you hear it, you're going to hear it in your head.
He said he felt that nobody was in his corner, that he heard nothing.
He was out there by himself.
Man, look, that's that insight. Coach Omar, prolific boxing, tapping in. Listen.
Hold on, before we wrap this up, we're going to take another pause for the segment 3 of this 50th. But real quick, man, go ahead. Promote yourself. Let it be known. Tell everybody where to find you and all that good stuff.
Prolific Boxing. We're located on Central and Sunland, 5424 South Central Avenue. We have a youth boxing program. We have a competition team, and I also do personal training outside of that. And I also do training for other gyms as well. I work for a fitness gym on Saturdays called Barbell Effect. So shout out to them. So. Yeah, if you guys want to look for me,
man, how can they find you?
If you guys looking for me on social media, you can find me on Instagram, Prolific Boxing AZ, TikTok, same thing, Prolific Boxing AZ, Facebook, Prolific Boxing.
It is.
Yes,
Find him at any of Guapo Damas's concerts. That's where you find him. Yeah, that's my man.
Or at any local boxing.
Hey, shout out to Guapo Damas. He wore the Prolific shirt on stage.
Most def, man. It was my honor, bro. My honor, bro.
Yeah. So we're going to continue on, everybody. We're going to take another quick break. 50th. We're celebrating. We got some more content to serve up. 4luvofboxing, baby. See you in about 5.